Excellent. So we're about to get started. So everybody, today we're talking to Miriam DeFronzo. Is that how you pronounce it, DeFronzo?
That is how you pronounce it, correct, yes.
And yet you are an Irish person, correct? Your heritage?
I am Irish, 100%.
Yeah, because I've seen your posts sometimes and you're talking about Ireland.
Right, I was born in Ireland.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I came to the States when I was 7, so.
I had
I've
no
been back
idea.
twice. My family still lives there.
I had no idea. And you are married.
Ireland
You're
is
married
my
to a.
home.
You're married to a rock and roller.
My husband is a musician. Yep.
Well, I'm sorry, a musician, but he's in a. He
Oh,
has
well,
a.
no, yeah, you're right. He's a rock and roller.
He's got a band, right? You got a band, right?
He does have a band.
Can I get the name of the band?
Sure, it's Cypher Machine. Cypher with a Cypher.
That's interesting.
They've got a few albums out. You can.
I'll put a picture of the. I'll put a picture of the band on the video.
Sure.
Cypher
Not
Machine.
everybody's cup of tea.
Is it metal?
Yeah, it's metal.
Okay, well, yeah, I can see that. Okay, well, anyway, so I had no idea that you were born in Ireland. Well, I've got to tell you then I should really do this video. I just got a signed copy of oh God, what is their name, Eric? It's this Irish girls band. There are 3 of them. I think their name is Deus Madrona. This is so stupid. I got a signed copy of an EP they put out. I
may have seen you post videos of them.
Yeah, I did. And they have a song, their own song called Stamp on It, which is really good. And they sent out signed copies. It took almost 6 months to get it because of COVID. It was just, and I still have it in the cardboard. I haven't opened it yet. And I was thinking of doing a video of opening it and kind of talking about my record collection. But being the lazy bastard that I am, of course, I haven't done it. But okay, and I'm checking my glasses are still recording. This is a problem we've had in the past. So anyway, that, as you know, I tend to get a little off track. But Miriam DeFronzo, you are a long-time searcher. Is this not, or at least a search student?
I think around the same time that you've been searching, Eric, since 2017 I started on.
Have you been out, or are you an armchair searcher?
Oh, no, I've been out. I searched New Mexico 4 times, well, 3 times, almost 4. The 4th time I was 4 hours from New Mexico when the treasure was found. But
oh, wow.
Yeah, so, no, I've searched. I was fully convinced I was right, which is why I searched, but, you know, not so much.
The last time I searched, I was the most sure I've ever been. I went back home. I didn't find it. I went back home. I did a video. Do you talk about stupid? People don't realize that it took me 10 minutes to get my phone connected to my car radio so I could talk to Miriam, because remember, I'm an IT guy. And then, so I got all the way back home. That was supposed to be facetious. I got all the way back home, and I did a video, and this guy goes, "Hey Eric, your location wasn't in the elevations. It wasn't in the elevation range." You know, I would do things like that. Like I went out to, I'm not going to make this about me, but I went out to this place called Vermilion Creek, and it occurred to me as I had been tromping through this ridiculous isolated area, I said, Forrest Fenn would never be here. Did you ever have those kind of moments where you went, oh my God, I'm so dumb? I mean, I was at the wrong elevation.
No, I was 100% convinced. But nobody goes out searching unless they're pretty darn sure, right? I mean.
Well, yeah, but I meant I would be sure, and then someone would say, Eric, you weren't even at the right elevation. But that didn't happen to you.
No, not at all.
Cool.
In fact, I just kept coming back home and just tweaking my solve a little bit to try, but I was still right there in the exact same area the entire time.
Can you tell us the
I don't think I've ever shared my solve with you, but I will at some point if you want me to. It's pretty simple and straightforward.
Yeah, go for it.
Confirmation bias.
Go for it.
I will, not now, but I will.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because you and I have also talked about stuff like UFOs and stuff that,
Yes,
and you know, now the government's admitted it, everybody's admitting it. Of course, the United States was decades behind other countries like Russia, who openly had their military studying them. And then we finally come along in, 2016 and go, oh yeah, we're going to allow our Navy pilots to admit they see them. Well, God.
That's because we're delicate.
Yeah, we're delicate.
We're a delicate little nation, and they're giving us a soft opening.
They're afraid
my thoughts anyway on that.
Okay.
You know.
I'm having a bad habit of stepping all over you here today talking, so I'm going to avoid doing that. So what would you like, what is your assessment? I'm going to give you free reign here for a while. What is your assessment of the chase, if you want to talk about that? I mean, to me, it seems like it's just in this quagmire.
All right, well, I've had a bit of a change of tune. So, first of all, I think the reason we're all still here a year and a half later talking about this is because we were never given the solution. It just boils my buttons. I've never ever worked on a treasure hunt where you weren't given the solve. Masquerade, Secrets of the Alchemist Star, they all ended in shit shows, and we still got the solution. So, aside from that, I think you know I've always kind of been in the camp that Fenn pulled it.
You've been what? I'm sorry, what did you say? You've always been what?
In the camp that Forrest pulled the treasure.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, with the timing, with so many things that I'll get into in a minute, it seems that way. However, I'm starting to think that maybe what is being talked about, maybe Jack did actually find the treasure in 2019. I think maybe Forrest knew this and gave Jack an ultimatum, told him, I'm going to pull it if you don't go back and get it. So, bear with me here for a second. I'm going to go over the timeline. First of all, I want to say that I'm a big stickler for evidence, for proof. I like sources. I don't like hearsay. You know, it doesn't make me a bad person. It doesn't make me an asshole.
No.
Sorry, I'm going to try not to cuss. I think it makes me thorough. I mean, it doesn't make me a hater.
No, you're right. I agree. Go for it. Be a stickler.
Well, there's a few things that I don't have actual proof of, but I do tend to believe. Okay?
Right.
One of them is Jack's Reddit ping that Ben and his Reddit buddy had put out. Okay, so they tracked Jack's Reddit pings in 2018 or 2019 and 2020. And the other thing, I haven't seen any proof of that, but I believe it. I believe Ben knows where Jack was during those times. Okay?
Huh.
I also believe the email that was accidentally sent to Pam's Shetron.
Right.
I have not seen that with my own eyes, but I believe it. And, well, I'm going to speak on that for a second. The reason that I believe Pam's email, or that she received that email, is because I know for a fact that Forrest accidentally has done that. Right after the...
Okay, let me hold you up for a second. So what she's talking about, folks, is this woman, Pam Shetron? She was sent an email that supposedly was supposed to be sent to Shiloh, and
Correct.
She got it instead. So you're saying that Fenn would sometimes send emails to the wrong person?
Correct.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. And the reason I'm saying that is right after the find, it was within a couple weeks. It was in June 2020. There was a searcher, I'm not going to say who it was, but they sent an email to Forrest. They were very upset. They were threatening to sue him and, felt they had been cheated. And it wasn't very nice.
Huh.
A bit of a nasty gram. So Forrest meant to respond or forward that email to his attorney. Instead of sending it to his attorney, he sent it right back to the searcher who sent it to him.
Oh,
And it
my
said,
God.
yeah, it said, Carl, another one, out of the blue, right? Basically saying, oh, great, another person is suing me out of the blue. But he accidentally sent it back to the searcher who sent him the original email.
Oh, my
This
God.
searcher sent me both, which is how I know this.
Oh.
So my point is, Forrest, he did that. I don't know if he hit, reply all, or whatever he did, but he accidentally sent the email that was meant for Carl right back to the searcher. So, again, he's done that. And I happen to believe him. I haven't seen it, but I believe it. Not only that, the Medium article sure as heck didn't sound like Jack would have written it. So that's a whole Jack lie.
Interesting,
right?
yeah.
So there's that. And then, so like I said, those are the two things that I haven't actually seen proof of, but I believe it. Now, going back to the timeline, in 2019, Eric, okay?
Yeah.
So with the Reddit things, again, in April of 2019, that puts Jack in Yellowstone. Allegedly, he went to Hell's Half Acre. I do believe he shot back up to Yellowstone. I could be wrong on this. I'm sure someone will correct me. And then down to Santa Fe. Now, Jack doesn't tell us he went to Santa Fe. Doesn't even mention it. Never mentions meeting Forrest or being anywhere near Santa Fe in 2019. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So this was April. Now, let's say Jack found treasure that time in April of 2019. He took it, he moved it, one or the other, heads down to Santa Fe, tell Forrest that he found it, maybe doesn't necessarily tell him he moved it, tells Forrest that he wants to set up residency in Puerto Rico to avoid the tax exemptions, all these problems with the taxes, whatever it may be. Forrest doesn't like this one bit. Why would he, right? So, along comes August 2019, and this is when the auction site was set up. Okay?
Right.
Now, I'm not saying the auction site is legit, but I think it might tie in here. So, again, bear with me. August 2019, the auction site gets set up. September 2019, Jack applies for the tax exemption in Puerto Rico. All right? Then we have what I believe, I think was October of 2019, the email to Pam. Now, all of these things coupled together. Now, look at the end of 2019. We have November, December. We have the emails to Gail about ending the chase. Again, I think Forrest said, Jack, hurry up and get this thing, or I will, right? Then we have Cynthia being told that big surprises are coming. There was a Popular Mechanics article that came out in 2020, but it mentioned another lawsuit in December of 2019. I'm not entirely sure what that was.
A Fenn lawsuit?
Yes.
That was in Popular Mechanics?
Popular Mechanics article. It was a scathing Popular Mechanics article. It did not paint Fenn in a good light.
Ooh.
So that came out March 31st, 2020. Okay, but it mentioned that there was another lawsuit in December of 2019. I haven't gone back through the lawsuits to see which one that was.
Right.
I'm not sure. But it mentions a lawsuit in 2019. It's just another nail in the coffin there. So then we have 2020, and now keep in mind, Jack found this treasure, allegedly, according to this little theory here I'm proposing. In 2019, moved it. It was unfindable, okay? And somebody else died. March 21st, Michael Sexton dies, looking for the treasure.
Right.
We get hit with a pandemic. March 23rd, Fenn tells us, hey, let's think about June 1st for boots on the ground.
Yeah.
June 1st happens to be the day that Yellowstone opened. Just before that, the auction site comes down. Boom, June 5th, the treasure is found. I mean, all of those things tied in together tell me either Fenn pulled it, Fenn threatened to pull it, and made Jack go get it. According to Ben, he was in and out of Yellowstone on the 5th. Ben believes he found it on June 5th. I believe he thinks he left Yellowstone at 6 o'clock a.m. on June 6th, which to me there's no way he slept in and then went back and got it the next day. He thinks he walked right to it because he knew where it was. So, I mean, all that explains why Jack is super cagey about the when. So as far as sex and dying, I mean, legally, I don't know. Does it make them responsible? I don't know the answer to that. Morally, ethically, hell yeah, it does. I mean, how do you, if the treasure was unfindable, right, Eric? Whether he destroyed slaves, whether he moved it, he took it, whatever he did, it was no longer findable through that poem.
Right.
You know, I think we needed to know that. I don't think Sexton would have been searching. I don't, you know.
Why? Okay, you have kind of overwhelmed me with facts and figures, but that's really easy to do with me. So don't worry about that. Other people probably have much more of a handle on this than I probably do. So my overall, but from what I understand, what you have said is, why was the reason that you said Jack relocated the treasure, right?
Uh-huh.
Why did he do that? Did you?
Okay, well, because he left it there for an entire year. Now, Jack, I mean,
why?
First of all, I don't understand leaving that treasure for 5 minutes, let alone an entire year.
Yeah, and we know that he claims he did wait he claims he waited at least a night, and then, which was weird,
I don't believe it. I cannot see anybody doing that.
I know.
Okay?
I know.
I think Jack left it so that he could, and then told Fenn that it was located, but he didn't retrieve it. You know, Fenn never told us that the treasure was found or the treasure was not found. He always said, the treasure is still where I left it 10 years ago. Now, that could just generally mean Yellowstone, if it was Yellowstone. You know?
Yeah.
He's not lying. The treasure is still there. It's just not in the exact spot where he put it. I mean, if this, and this is all conjecture,
right.
If this scenario, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense that Fenn would have pushed him to end it. That his family knew, and it was a unanimous decision to end this treasure hunt, and then somebody else dies, for God's sake.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we have the emails between him and Dale, and like prior to Sexton dying, he's kind of saying, well, I'm thinking of ending it. What do you think? And Dale's like, hell no. And then after Sexton dies, then he's kind of like, well, I'm really thinking of ending it. And then like Dale himself said, it was a few minutes later, all of a sudden Fenn says it's been found.
Right, exactly. And I mean, nothing good happened in that month of March.
No.
Would have made Fenn not want to end it.
Right.
The pandemic, George Floyd died, in May, I believe, and the whole country was in upheaval. All of these things happened. All of those wouldn't have said, oh yeah, well, that's another reason to keep it going.
Right.
Kind of the opposite. So, I mean, and it's possible that Jack didn't go back and get it, and Fenn did end it. I just can't figure out how Jack ties into that then. You know what I mean? Yeah,
sounds like you think, it sounds like you may have been searching in New Mexico?
I was 100% searching in New Mexico, yep.
It sounds like from what I'm gathering though, it sounds like you're saying you think that it was in Yellowstone.
Okay, so I'm going to say this. Just because I was searching in New Mexico doesn't mean that I can't admit I was wrong.
Oh, no, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
You know?
Sure.
It doesn't even admit that I can't admit, or it doesn't mean that I can't admit that Jack found the treasure. I have no problem admitting any of that.
Right.
I will say, I like proof, okay? So we're being told 9 Mile Hole. Fine. If it's 9 Mile Hole, I'll tell you what, the solution sucks. It's really, really bad. It's a bad solve. It's a bad poem, and I find it very hard to believe that Forrest spent 15 years writing that poem if that is the solution at 9 Mile Hole. But so be it. Maybe it is. Maybe it was that simple. You know?
Yeah, that's
but
what
again, I have no problem
put
I was wrong.
You put your finger on it. You put your finger on it when you said that it was that simple, because I mean, I did a video on 9 Mile Hole, even though I called it, Did I Find the Blaze? It was 9 Mile Hole. Other people have done 9 Mile Hole. People have written.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't complicated to think of, especially he had pictures of it in his book.
Right.
So you're right. It's like simple.
Book, In Love with Yellowstone.
Yeah.
You know, he did say, look, I hate the idea of this treasure being in Yellowstone. I hate it. However, like I said, I can admit that I was wrong. People have said, well, nobody will believe the solution if it smacks them in the face because they're a New Mexico searcher and they just can't get past their own solve. That is not true. It's 100% not true. I can admit anything. I would just like proof, not
right.
A searcher said, another searcher said, so it makes it so. So I think the consensus is that Shiloh is confirming 9 Mile Hole. I don't think it takes a genius to figure out that's what's being talked about. I don't necessarily understand why we can't just say Shiloh told me flat out. I mean, I don't get the legal repercussions of Shiloh telling the location. I don't get the legal repercussions of Jack telling the location. I get...
Well, I mean, if it's in Yellowstone, then there's going to be at least tax issues, right? Or there's going to even be federal issues with Yellowstone, right? If it was hidden there?
Federal issues with whom? With Jack?
No, with the state, with the Park Service.
With the Fenn estate.
Well, yeah, maybe.
After Jack?
Well, yeah, wouldn't they? Because I think it's illegal to go in and remove something from a... you have to declare it with the Park Service. You have to...
Right.
But he didn't, or did he?
No, of course he didn't. No, I know all of that, but who are they coming after? Are they coming after Jack or the Fenn estate? If they're coming after Jack, why does Shiloh or the Fenn estate or anybody even care? Like, I don't know. And then the whole reason for Jack supposedly leaving it and asking permission is because it was in Yellowstone. Isn't that to bypass that law? I don't know. I don't understand.
That's a very good concept. I never thought of that. That's pretty smart.
So, the email that Jack sent to Forrest when he found the treasure, it's in Dan Barbarese's book. I don't know if you read it, but
I did read it.
The email is just so awkward.
I skipped parts of it.
I wonder if he sent it in 2019. I'm going to read it. It's real quick.
Yeah.
It's right here in front of me. So this is what Jack says that he sent to Forrest right after he found the treasure. Okay.
Okay.
He wrote, it's like, I believe I have found the treasure chest that is depicted in the 2010 book, The Thrill of the Chase, and I would like to send photos for you to tell me yes or no if it is truly your actual treasure chest. And then we can discuss our next steps. And if it is yours, if you will give me permission to retrieve it from the place where I found it, where I left it. I'm sorry, it just tagged me.
No way he wrote it like that.
Well, that is exactly word for word what he said he wrote.
That is so unnatural.
No kidding.
I would be like, hey, Forrest Fenn, I found the treasure, and here's a picture to prove it, and I'm coming down to see you.
Exactly. Any of us would, exactly. There's so many things that are just so wonky and don't add up, and which is why we're still here yapping about it.
Miriam, you really you have some good ideas here, like that thing which you said about contacting him from a legal point of view if it was in Yellowstone. That's really, really brilliant. I hadn't thought of that.
I thought that was kind of the consensus as to why Jack supposedly left the show overnight. And
you guys, well, I always tell people that I talk to about the chase, you have to understand, I do videos which gets the word out to people, but on the other hand, you guys are usually much more aware of what's going on. And then that email, and I kind of enjoy this because you kind of give me insights to stuff for me to think about. That email is friggin' ridiculous. That is not a normal, natural reaction to finding the trick. No, it's like he's just contrived this email to it's so fake.
Right, it's so bizarre. I have it highlighted with a big old yellow highlighter in the book, and it's just, what the hell? I know, it's none of us would have said that, and exactly like you said, we would have sent a picture. Forrest, look, I found your treasure. What you might have said, where you found it. You didn't even do that. I don't know, so
weird. That is the thing, Miriam, and that's what drives me crazy. I don't want to get into all this stuff with D.B. Cooper and all that, but the problem, because I just think it's all bullshit. But the thing I will say is, the thing, and I think I said that to you in one of our messages, is the thing that drives me crazy is there is a real mystery here, which you're hitting on. There is a real mystery here to be solved, which is what happened at the end.
Right.
And that email is a perfect example of how obvious it is that something bullshit is going on off. And then if I were Shiloh and them, and I saw these ridiculous things where people are off running around with GPS solves and all this, and D.B. Cooper, I'd be just sitting there smiling, thinking, thank God they're not seriously looking into this. Now, I don't know how we could, because as I was saying to Steve, I think, people like Fenn's detective, I call him a detective, he was more like a guy who was monitoring the chase for Fenn in case there were crazies on the internet that he picked up. But, there are people involved with it that, the Fenn estate family's not going to apparently talk about it, but you know what I'm trying to say. There's a real mystery here, and nobody's really trying to figure it out.
The D.B. Cooper angle is fun, and...
I guess.
Well, I don't think Forrest was D.B. Cooper. I think it was
Thank God,
I think it's a fun distraction.
I guess.
Again, it's Stephanie's brainchild. I like Alan. Whatever. It's fun, but I don't pay a whole lot of attention to that. But something happened. Something is just so off. I know I kind of rattled off all those dates.
No, you did.
But if you look at it, obviously something happened between August 2019 and March. Okay,
if you don't mind doing this for my simple brain. So if you could you had a lot of facts and figures there and dates. Could you, in a very broad synthesis, just say generally, so you're talking between
April 2019, when I think Jack was pinged in Yellowstone and then heading to Santa Fe, which he failed to mention to anybody. So between April 2019,
April, May,
and then the fine. Okay, but the majority of the flood of facts really came in the last 3 months, I think, of 2019.
Right.
Right. So other than the auction site, which I think, like I said, might have some validity to it, which was set up in August.
You're talking about Heritage?
No. I am talking about the auction website that.
Have you seen it?
Found the treasure.
Have you seen it?
Yes. They claim that they have found it. You know what I'm talking about? The auction website, right?
No, Miriam.
They have found the treasure. Oh.
I told you, I don't keep up very well.
Okay, I'll send it to you. But all right, Eric, this was way before the treasure was found. It was in August 2019. This website came online, I think it was ForrestFennTreasure.com. And they claimed that they had found the treasure. They said that they took a piece of it out, or one item out. They were moving it within close proximity, and they were selling it to the highest bidder. How do you not know about this?
One piece? Okay. One piece?
They took something from the treasure.
Would it be the green emerald ring that supposedly was lost?
It could have been. It could have been.
I couldn't know about it because I'm slightly, I swear I'm beginning to think I've been on the spectrum all my life. But anyway, go ahead. No, I'm not even kidding. But anyway.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. But I just missed it.
Yeah.
Or if I did see it, you know me, I'm very cynical, and I probably went, no, another bullshit fake site.
No, we all did. We all went, well, I did.
Oh, okay.
I chalked it up to bullshit, but the timing of that, again, is weird. So since I've been looking into it now, it was set up in August 2019, and then it was shut down. The website was shut down as if they had a buyer right before the treasure was found. Oh, and Forrest told Taypro to come out hard or come down hard on the auction site. And that was also between November 2019 and, gosh, when the treasure was found. I don't know the exact date of that. I'm sure somebody does. But anyway, I think the auction site might have some validity to it.
Wait a minute, I'm losing. Wait a minute, I'm losing it now. When the Fenn announced the treasure was found on June, that thing was August 2019.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
That's when it was set up, and then it was taken down just before the treasure was found.
Huh.
And then they had put it back up, and I'll send you the whole link to it. It's pretty interesting.
You know, when you said, Eric, how could you not know about this? You sounded like you were talking to a very, very mentally challenged person.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't care. No.
I assumed everybody kind of knew about this auction site thing.
I had heard, I have to be honest, I vaguely was aware of an auction site out there that was, but I don't know, there's just been so many things that pop up on the internet and go away that, but now you've explained it far more fully than I had any comprehension of.
So it's possible that Jack may have been part of this auction site. So I believe Jack wants as much money as he can get for this treasure. I think all he cares about is the money, to be honest.
Do you think anything has, well, that's what he originally said, remember?
Yeah.
He said, I'm not like into treasure.
I'm not a collector, right.
Yeah.
Right, so I think maybe, he tried setting up this website, this auction site, with a group of people or with a handful of people, and tried to get somebody to buy this treasure. It didn't pan out. I think Forrest may have been, hurry up with this, telling Capo to come down hard on this auction website. Jack, go get that treasure before I do, before somebody else dies. And lo and behold, look what happened.
Capro, the necessary evil.
Well, I don't have a problem with Capro.
No. I meant that. No, I meant that in a way to substantiate what you said. That Fenn kind of said she's kind of someone I can use to do things like come down on hard people.
Right. I get you.
Hey, give me a second here, okay? I'm going to turn my glasses off and on.
Sure.
Okay.